Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. I'm Gary Allen. I'll be your host today. Today, we're talking about artificial intelligence for attorneys and how to market your firm using AI tools. Excited to have Matt Newbill with us, who I'll introduce in just a second. So this is part of our Best in Class webinar series. It's available for Association of Legal Administrators credit. If you're an ALA member, this is the credit information. It's also a great organization if you haven't been involved. Provides both a great community as well as educational opportunities for legal administrators. So encourage you to take a look at it if you aren't a member already. So just let me introduce myself for a moment. I am a 35-year practicing attorney in a mid-sized firm, recently retired. And early in my career, I had a lot of pain from bad business practices. I actually had two firms implode while I was in them. One of them leaving me with no job on a Saturday afternoon and a 6-month-old baby to feed. I was really fortunate to land in a really well-run firm and enjoyed that both financially and just personally for the next 30 years. So I want to share what I learned as part of that experience. And it's really made me passionate about helping lawyers have profitable and happy practices. Along the way, I founded Law, which is a legal billing software company. And let me just tell you a little bit about that for context. Law is a mission-driven company because we want to help law firms become better businesses. And we make software that modernizes the full financial life cycle of a law firm. So your timekeeping, invoicing, payments, trust accounting, and reporting, among other things. We're differentiated in the marketplace because we are financially focused. We are built to complement best-in-class tools, particularly QuickBooks Online, where we have a very deep integration, Microsoft 365, and more. And we're for small to mid-sized firms. So that's who we are. If you want to learn more about us, just use the QR code here or reach out. Really excited to have Matt Newbill with us. I work with Matt every day here at Law. He's our head of revenue, and he's got a really strong digital marketing background. So he's been at this for decades and started as a software engineer and now is an executive leader. He's been the vice president of partnerships at T-Sheets, from when it was a startup until it was acquired by Intuit for a lot of money. He was also the vice president of growth at ConvertKit, which increased and grew that company a whole bunch. And to top it off, in his spare time, Matt is a competitive cyclist. So welcome to the webinar, Matt Newbill.
Thanks for having me, Gary, and thanks for the introduction. Happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Excited to share.
Let's do it. Awesome. So our objectives today are for you to understand the role and potential of AI in legal marketing, to be able to analyze AI marketing investment and effectiveness. Is it creating a return on investment for you? And learn how to apply AI in both the business to business and business to consumer contexts for law firms. How to address the ethical and confidentiality considerations, always on attorneys' minds, and then to gain some little hands-on experience through real-world prompts and demonstrations.
Yeah, we're going to actually use it in real time.
Let's do that.
So it'll be awesome. Yeah.
All right. So AI for attorneys. Matt, take it away.
Yeah, so I think obviously we'll talk about the ethics involved and the questions, and this conversation is more about how can we leverage these tools that are very, very smart to save us time for those marketing activities. And some of those marketing activities could range from, oh, I met these 5 people at this event and I want to craft a follow-up email, all the way to, hey, let me build a persona and then ask them how my landing page looks and see if they, if it's interesting. So full range. And really, we're not trying to replace our work as humans here. We're just trying to make it quicker and we're trying to make it easier. We all have a lot on our plate. There's probably some solo law firm owners here that probably have a ton on their plate. But safe to say that any managing partner, anyone working in the law space is always short on time. And so these are quick ways, easy tools to use. And in fact, the tools are stuff that you already have because we're going to do this all in Microsoft Copilot, which I think, Gary, we have a couple webinars on Copilot, right?
Yeah, we had a really great webinar a few months ago with Dennis Garcia, who's with the Microsoft legal department, and he's one of the key guinea pigs that they've used to test it. And that was a blast to go through how his team is using Copilot in Microsoft. So yeah, there's some. It's really phenomenal to see what you can do. Although obviously, as an in-house legal department, they didn't talk about marketing
Yes,
as a
of course.
use for it. So
Of
we're
course.
gonna fill that gap today.
Yep. And just so you know, this what I'm going to share today is not like pie in the sky theory stuff. This is all stuff that we're using at Lean Law. Maybe in a slightly different context, but we're very much heavily invested in using AI at Lean Law for our growth functions. And so I think that's important. I've been on a lot of these webinars and demos where it's like, well, that's pretty and that's great, but how can I actually use that? So we're trying to give you guys really great examples of stuff that's actually usable and feasible and not too complicated. So that's the intention here. I think it's important to call out what is Copilot, right? So Copilot is Microsoft's LLM, and it's based on OpenAI GPT 4.0. So that's what the model's based on. I think what's unique about Copilot is if it's set up correctly, it can be constrained to and safeguard your data. And I think was it Dennis? Is that his name?
Yes.
From the webinar? Did he cover that in the webinar?
Yeah, we talked about that. I mean, there are two things that really differentiate Copilot from, generally available AI like ChatGPT. One of them is that it it works within your Microsoft suite. So it potentially has availability to all of your data in a secure environment. So you're not having to go dump your data into, an open tool. It's actually there and secure like it would be when you're using any other Microsoft application. The other thing about it is it can actually do things. Like if you want to say draft 50 emails to these contacts, it will do that, or it will create a blog post, or it will do anything that you can do within the Microsoft suite. So it potentially is a big jump from, something that just spits out text like ChatGPT generally does.
Yeah, yeah. And it's probably a tool that's sitting on everyone's computer right now. And some of us
Exactly.
don't even know that it's there. So cool. Well, let's dive in and start. We kind of broke this up into a couple segments, acknowledging that there's a couple different functions that happens in marketing. There's the relationship-based side of marketing, right? I'm attending events. I'm going to trade shows. I'm reaching out for maybe a partnership, for referrals, all of those relationship type activities. And then there's the second side, which is kind of more on the pure marketing side, right? Of like, oh, I should write an article, a blog article, so I can get some SEO and get some traffic from the search engines. Or, oh, I need to build this landing page or this graphic or these more pure marketing plays. So we'll start with the relationship side. if that sounds good.
Yeah, let's do
And
that. I mean, that's all the marketing I ever did as a lawyer was all relationship based.
okay, perfect. So I think, it's important that, we acknowledge, this is where attorneys excel, right? Is at the relationship-based marketing. It's like what you just said, Gary. This is all I ever did. So let's lean into that and let's say, how can we make that even more effective? How can we do that more efficiently and still get the same results? So that's kind of the premise behind our prompts here. So again, we're not replacing these relationships with AI, but we're enhancing them. So anything that AI spits out, read it, double check it, make sure it sounds like you, make sure it's correct. That's kind of just the giant disclaimer stamp that we need to do here because sometimes it's not. So I think that's an important thing.
Yeah, I want to dive into that a little bit later on too, which is, you know, you don't have to accept what the AI throws at you. I mean, I can always, whenever something starts with "in the fast-paced world of something," I know it's been written by AI. So you don't want to be that lawyer writing those posts.
Yeah, that or the long dash. If there's an overabundance of long dashes,
Right. Yeah.
typically AI. AI. Yeah. So let's dive in here. I'm going to share my screen. Let me just grab the right window here. Okay. Hopefully everyone can see that. So this is actually a standalone version of Copilot. So if you go to copilot.microsoft.com and and this is included in your subscription, this is the tool. You can use it standalone like this. You can also use it within Outlook. There's a giant Copilot button here. You can use it within Excel. I don't have that open right now. You can use it within Word. Basically, Copilot is everywhere in Microsoft products. Kind of like how Clippy was. I don't know if some of us remember Clippy.
I hope
Gary
this is
probably does.
much better than Clippy. Yeah.
Yes, much better. So, let's start. Let's say that we went to an event, right? And we're like, hey, let's draft an email. Let's draft a follow-up. And I'm gonna put in some fake information here because I think it's relevant. Let me just resize some screens a little bit here.
It looks pretty good on my screen. Oh, there we go.
Okay, perfect. Just moving some of these things out of the way here. So let's say we went to an event and we're like, okay, I need to send a follow-up email to this event. And oftentimes this happens, hopefully it happens like, I don't know, the next day, but sometimes it's maybe 10 days and you're like, oh man, now I gotta. So let's solve that. Let's use Copilot here. And so we'll do a draft. And so this is basically the prompting, and they have some suggested prompts in here. We're not going to use one of those. We're going to do it ourselves. So we're going to say, write a personalized email, follow-up email to Gary, because Gary, you and I met after our conversation about, let's see, what was our topic, Gary, of the event? What did we
About
talk about?
using AI in law firm marketing.
In law firm marketing, at the Boise AI law firm event.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can add stuff in here if we want to. We could say, add some humor, we could add anything else.
Right. Add a note about Matt's last bicycle race that we talked about. Yeah.
Remember that we spoke about Gary skiing a double black diamond run. Okay. So we'll see what this gives us, right? So you just click generate, and now it says, okay, I'm writing your email. Okay, pretty fast, right? So hello, Gary. I hope this message finds you well. It was such a pleasure to meet you at the Boise AI Law Firm event, and have that engaging conversation about the exciting potential of AI and law firm marketing. Your insights were truly enlightening. And then it pulls in, I remember you mentioned your thrilling experience skiing a double black diamond run. I must say your adventurous spirit. So it's adding, it's basically, but this could be 80% of the way there, right? And we could say, make it shorter, right? So now this thing's going to run through, and there you go. Now it's shortened it up. So we took what would be, potentially a, what, 15-minute, 20-minute task,
Yeah.
and took that down to what, 2 minutes?
Right. And I'd have to say it's sometimes it's harder for me to write things like this than
Ah,
like a brief or something, because it's like, I don't want to sound like an idiot while I'm doing
yeah,
it. And or the Copilot and these AI things can be pretty good at, here's a normal way of saying some social thing or
yeah,
other. So, for somebody who this, these emails just don't flow out. I mean, I find this to be super helpful.
yeah, yeah. Even for ideas, like you
Right,
said, right? Of
right,
like, oh, okay, this is a good start. Now I can take this, I can spend 5 minutes and make this my own, right?
right.
Um, and so if you times that, let's say you talk to 5 people at the event, now you're saving an hour. And an hour, we know, is worth a lot of money. So,
Right. Well,
fantastic,
and it's
fantastic way.
probably that not that you would spend the hour, but that you would not do the follow-up. I mean, that was
Yeah,
my experience is,
yeah,
so you've now wasted that marketing opportunity by not
exactly.
having a good follow-up.
Yeah, you spent time at the event, made connections, and then all for naught.
Right.
Yep. So, okay, let's do another one. We'll discard this. All right, so let's do
All right.
another
Can I?
application. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I was going to challenge you here, but go ahead if you've got an idea.
I was gonna say like um potential partners.
Oh, okay.
Like like that this is more partner research. So I think we
Hmm.
can go so in this one I'm gonna actually switch to just the main Copilot because I don't need it to draft an email. But
Okay.
let's see what this does. I haven't even tried this one. Um so let's say we're gonna list 5 potential referral partners for our what's our practice area, Gary?
Let's say for let's say it's family law.
For our family law practice. And we'll go with Boise, Idaho, because we like it here. Let's see what it comes up with here. Hey, that's
Wow.
that's, that's
Okay.
a pretty good brainstorm.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, and so I think the point of this is, we oftentimes find, and I do this
Could
in marketing and
could
growth. Go ahead.
could this actually say, okay, now identify 5 of each in Boise?
Let's try
You
it.
think it'll do that?
Now, 5 specific companies for each of these in Boise, Idaho.
Wow.
There we go. And I believe these are actually links. So we can
Links.
click these and it'll probably take it right to their website. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what was interesting is the other thing we can do, which is I do this a lot. What is a good approach for reaching out to them? What should my strategy be? And so it's, we have these tasks where we get paralyzed of like, okay, I know I should be doing this. Okay, what's my first step? I need to find these partners. Okay, who are
Right.
they? Oh,
Hmm.
okay, here they are. Now my next step is, now what do I do? Now, how do I reach out to them? What should I say? What should I do?
Right.
And the whole point of this is, while this may not be 100% accurate, it's pretty close. Like it's pretty good. Like you could follow these things and you could say, okay, for each one of these, yeah, I need to understand their business. That makes for a much more personalized call.
Hmm.
Um, email or call, which we could craft an email and Outlook using
Right.
Copilot.
Hmm.
And have an offer. Like, why should we talk? Um, network
Right.
and meet in
Or
person. I mean, there's a number of things.
so I'm thinking about a guide here, that show you're smart. Lawyers love to do that.
Oh,
Uh,
like a guide, like building
yeah,
a guide.
yeah, like,
Okay.
yeah, well, what would be a good thing? Like just sort of a, family law in Idaho, an introduction to,
Should we do
uh,
that in Word?
yeah, let's do that in Word. Let's see if we can get that started.
Okay. So let's see. We want to generate a guide. How many words do we want this guide to be? I've found also that if you can be specific with, hey, I want it. Oh, look, it's just recommending for beginners. But if you can be specific with your word count, right?
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Maybe 2000 words.
Yeah, if some or shorter, I would say 1,000.
Um,
Let's.
let's go 1,500 words.
Hmm.
Um, and who's this for? This is
Let's say this is for the therapists. That
for
what
for
therapists need to know about Idaho family law.
for therapists for a potential referral partnership. What do they need to know about family law practice to make them feel comfortable referring clients to me? Okay, let's see what it does. And that's the beauty of AI is you can play around with stuff with pretty low investment, right? Like that took us 30 seconds to come up with that prompt.
Hmm.
And well, it just produced a guide. I don't know if it's any good. Um, guide for therapists, establishing a referral partnership with a family law practice.
Yeah, and I think there's a lesson here for lawyers about marketing, which is, you know, we tend to get really anal, I will say, about things like this.
Mm,
And, it's like, oh, it's got to have like blue book citations and, you know, the therapists don't care about that, generally
right.
speaking. If it's written to with useful information from their perspective, then they're going to
Yeah.
go, oh, that's a really good tip I can use. They're never going to use the blue book citation.
Right. Yeah.
And
Really good point.
that's the sort of, and if you do have some kind of, oh, there's a nice little, some, 2 or 3 interesting things that, I've run into in my practice about therapists and family law. You just
Mhm.
put that in the prompt and it'll include
Mhm.
it.
Yep. And so this, I mean, this is actually covers a lot of things. It covers the benefits. It
Mhm.
covers uh, how we build a strong referral partnership, the role of a family law attorney. So educational
Right.
understanding family law. So it does a pretty good job of, I mean, it gets us again 80, maybe 90% of the way there.
Right. Exactly. And how long did that take?
A handful of minutes.
Right. And you know what the therapist is going to remember, oh, they sent me something that was useful.
Exactly.
You know, if they have a real question or a real referral, they'll get in touch with you. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that seems, I mean, you know, my work was very technical, so I wonder how it would do with that. We won't test it on, you know, the Bevel Amendment or anything, but,
I mean, it might surprise us, but maybe that's
I
another
know.
call.
Yeah, exactly.
So Gary, what are some other things, just thinking back, relationship wise, activities and things that you found yourself doing or not doing, that you should have been? Because we had a couple examples, but is there anything else that kind of comes to mind for you?
Well, I remember another entrepreneur that we worked with a lot early on. His name's Tom Gay, and he had a referral uh, software that he used, and he always said, you know, the way that you get referrals is you give in you give something, and you
Mm,
give and you give and you give and you ask. You know,
mm.
so and you know, you may not be asking like, hey, do you have any clients at that point, but just something. So, you know, and thinking about what those things are. I mean, it was because you're busy as a lawyer and you want to focus on your clients and your practice. I mean, that's universal with law
Yeah.
firms. But, you know, so you know, even something that is like, oh, if I thought about this for 15 minutes, I could figure it out, but you just don't do it. But if you know, you might write a prompt, or you might even tell your assistant to write prompts,
Yeah,
things
yeah,
like this. So
exactly.
it's like, okay, I want to reach out to 10 potential referral partners this week, and I want to have something simple I can give them that might be of use. And that can be, you know, it doesn't have to be a physical thing, but you know, give me some suggestions on on my plan for this week for those people.
Yeah, so on the prompt here, let's, help me brainstorm some ideas around what I can give to therapists that might help them understand the importance of a family law um, connection
Hmm.
for their clients.
Hmm.
Let's just see what this gives us. Um, so we have educational material, so we can create a brochure or pamphlet,
Hmm.
a guide explaining the legal processes relevant to family dynamics, case studies. We can host workshops, webinars, a referral checklist. That's pretty good.
Hmm.
Um, quick reference guide, informational handouts, mental health focused legal insights. Interesting.
Hmm.
Uh, co-branded, and then personal connection, share a personalized letter or video message, and then offer a free consultation. Um, and then it asks, I love how it's like, well, would you like help drafting any of these materials? Um,
Yeah, exactly.
sure,
And you know,
sure.
that's what's interesting about this list is nothing here costs you anything but time.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like
So,
you're sending an Amazon gift card to everybody.
right. And so I just said, sure, help me draft a referral checklist. And so here we go. We've got a checklist. Um, and it's asking, hey, do you want to incorporate specific scenarios based on your firm's strengths or experiences? Because maybe you're really good in one of these areas, right? And you're kind of
Hmm.
specializing.
Hmm.
And that's what you want to drill down in. So, um, quick time, easy time, very easy to brainstorm.
Right.
Um, and use this tool as kind of like it's really like a marketing assistant in your pocket. like,
exactly.
or on your screen in this case.
Right. And it's powerful. I mean, you know, I don't know, this stuff, like you say, isn't perfect, but it's 90%. And, you know, I mean, marketing stuff doesn't have to be perfect. I mean,
No.
you know, the people you're sending it to usually will have no idea about the substance of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, you do need to read it and review it and make it, you know, put your voice in it. But, you
Yeah.
know, a lot of that can be handled in the prompts if you do it well.
Yeah.
So I wonder, is there anybody who's listening to the webinar wants to shout out something they'd like to see us, you know, brainstorm on here? Could you put something in the chat or in the Q&A if you do?
And
Anybody?
while we're waiting
Yeah.
on that, um,
Can it make memes?
sure. Can you make me a meme for what do we want to make a meme for?
Uh, hmm.
Let's just see what it does here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so it's saying a split screen showing two scenarios.
Here we go. He asked about a property insurance attorney.
Okay, okay, okay.
Let's do that.
Property insurance attorney. Make it funny. Make it funny and witty. Okay, okay, so let's see. Uh, this is great. Please generate an image. Let's see what it comes up with. Sometimes this is like
The image, yeah, now it gets a little bit fraught when you do
rolling the dice.
images. Thank
Okay,
goodness I
so
called my property insurance attorney before this mess.
I mean,
Okay.
it's not the best, but
Yeah,
it's an idea.
right, right. Yeah,
Uh,
it's getting a lot better on images and things. I mean, there is a typo in
yeah, the text is
the
not
text.
very good. And so I think for images right now, using ChatGPT's tool for images is
Hmm.
better than Copilot right now.
Yeah,
So that's just something to keep in mind.
yeah,
But sure, yeah, you can create memes with it.
yeah. Yeah, and you know, if you spend a few iterations on these things, they can actually get to be pretty good. So
Yeah,
I
because
wonder
we can.
if go ahead, Matt.
Yep, go ahead, Gary.
I was going to say, I wonder if we should, we're about a little more than halfway through. Should we switch to B2C practice
Yeah, let's do it.
or the digital marketing side?
Yeah. So on the B2C side, and this is more of kind of the traditional marketing, there's a number of things that you can do here, but it all kind of starts with defining a persona, right? Building your persona. So let's go. I'm just going to start a new chat here. And what we're going to do is we're going to build the persona. I'm not going to type all this in because it's a lot. But actually let's do this. Let's say help me create a prompt that I can use to generate a persona of a potential client who is considering hiring a family law attorney. Let's assume that she's getting divorced, or he. Let's see. So this is, sometimes you're like, I don't even know where to begin on
Right.
this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I use this quite a bit where I say, okay, I kind of know where I want to go, but help me create a prompt. So this is saying, okay, here's an idea for your prompt. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's actually telling you, hey, put all this stuff in. Um, let's say, um, help me refine this for a divorce. Okay, so now we have this beautiful prompt here. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy it like that. I'm going to paste it down here. And we're going to hit go. Hey, run it. I don't think it wanted to run it. Here we go. It's funny, when I ran this earlier, probably remembers, when I ran it earlier, this was the exact same person, different last name, but Sarah.
Sarah. Okay.
She was the same age,
Mm-hmm.
38. It's pretty funny. Anyway, okay, so here it's saying, here's a persona for a potential client, right? Okay, it's female, here's her age, here's what I know about her, here's her financial situation, motivations and goals, challenges and pain point. Like, it goes pretty deep, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we can just ask, actually, and this is the other great part about some of these AI tools, Copilot does a great job of this, is it's kind of one step ahead of you of like, oh, you're creating a persona. I kind of think you might be trying to do some of these other things.
Mm-hmm.
And in our case, we're like, okay, yeah, how can this persona be applied in marketing strategies? Because really, we're like, how can we get in front of Sarah? Like, what does Sarah need to hear to pick us, to pick our firm? So let's just run this guy here. Okay, so based upon that persona, it's saying, hey, you should probably do some content marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably need to write some blog posts addressing these things, navigating custody battles with confidence, how to prepare financially for divorce. There's some guides and resources you could produce that would be helpful, right? Informational stuff. Um, it even goes down to, hey, you should probably optimize your website with these keywords that align with this
Right.
persona. So let's make sure we have these keywords in there. Here's some social media stuff you can do, some targeted advertising if you want to do paid, um, include client testimonials, personalized outreach, support-based marketing. So we could say this, help me craft a blog post. We'll do a blog post about navigating custody battles with confidence.
What I like about this list is most, again, most of the things we're talking about here don't cost you anything except time,
Right.
right?
Yeah, there may be some paid advertising sprinkled in here.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, for the most part, it's time. You're producing content.
Well, and it's so easy to just throw buckets of cash into the fireplace when you're doing paid digital these days, because
Yeah.
so, these topics like divorce lawyer and Boise, Idaho is going to be very saturated. And so the cost of buying Google ads against that is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So let's give us this suggestion, and hey, let's take one of the content pieces and let's create a blog post about navigating custody battles with confidence. Let's see what it comes up with here. So, I mean, again, read it, verify. Pretty easy. It's also asking, this is interesting. Let me know if you'd like to adjust the tone or add specific legal tips based on Idaho custody laws. So again, we can have our expertise as an attorney and say, there are these 3 things that are unique to Idaho here. Let's make sure we include those.
Right.
And Gary, I'm just curious, approximately how much does it cost per click for paid advertising on Google Ads for divorce attorney Idaho? Let's just see it. It may not give us anything. Oh, there you go. Average cost per click is $7.69, but
Wow.
it might be higher, reaching up to $34 per click. So there you go. You had the question, and here we go.
Think about $34 a click, and what 1% are going to convert. So you just spent $3,400 getting that client for a custody battle. So I mean, you just have to be really careful in this type of marketing. But you got to be seen as well.
Yeah, and that's assuming that you get someone to convert. That's assuming that your homepage and your website is good enough that someone can convert. And so, we can take this thing and say, help me build a homepage that persuades our persona, Sarah, to select us. And so this is going through here and calling out, okay, here's your headline. Here's a subheadline, your sections, your call to action. This is a pretty basic. I'd probably consider this a landing page and not a home page.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But at least it gets you a start, right? And it gets you headed down the right path here. So super powerful.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. That takes you from 0 to 80% almost instantly, which is which is really hard on these things. I think it's hard, because a lot of lawyers are technicians, and so they want to talk about the technical legal things they're doing, but your client doesn't care about that. I mean, they do, but what's really on their mind is the emotional part of this, and the empathy and support. Right. Your family's future matters. That's you think that's going to spark a little bit. Yeah.
Yep. And so that's I mean, a really good point. So that's one example. Like we just went through creating a persona, and then we said, okay, what does this person need to see content wise? Okay, let's produce a piece of that content. And then also and we had a question there about how much would this cost Google? It costs a lot. And then let's produce a landing page. And so in the span of 5-10 minutes, we went through what used to take weeks or months for a marketing firm to get through, right? And tens of thousands of dollars. And we did that with a tool that's included with your Microsoft subscription.
Exactly. Right. You're already paying for this, probably.
You're already paying for it. Yeah.
So will it tell us about search volume and things like that?
Well, let's see. What is the monthly search volume for divorce attorney in Boise, Idaho.
Okay. Ah, all right. Copped out on that one.
Yeah, help me estimate this. And so I just pushed it a little bit harder, right? I was
Mhm.
like, well, you're not gonna get off that easily. Let me like help me figure this out. And so, it's saying I could go do this, but then it's also saying, divorce attorney Boise, it's typically around 100 to 500 searches per
Mhm.
month.
Mhm.
Okay. And then it's looking at population and it says, okay, assuming it's making some assumptions, but at least it's telling you what those assumptions are. Um, and then it's got some, okay, 2 to 5% of a city's population engages with those types of services monthly. So basically it's saying, you could probably count on about 480 searches per month for Boise.
Yeah. Okay.
So pretty good, but also what I like about it is saying, hey, you can use this tool, Keyword Planner,
Mhm.
and to get detailed search volume metrics. And it's saying, do you want help setting that up? And if we said yes, help me set it up, it's going to give us a full walkthrough of step by step how to do this.
Right. Right. And it may not replace having some help on your, your digital strategy and execution, but you
Yeah.
can sure be a lot smarter as as to what you want that person to do, whether it's actually producing anything. You can be a much better consumer of those kinds of services.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So who
because
are my top competitors for divorce attorney in Boise, Idaho? I have no idea because I haven't been divorced. So,
yeah, me neither.
but apparently those are the top five. Um,
Some of the top. Why did they say that? What were the criteria for?
uh, they represented a mix of specialized and general family law practices.
Hmm.
Um, of these, which one is Sarah most likely to choose and why? So it's saying basically
Ah,
she'll probably choose this one because custody, mediation, and custody cases.
okay.
So it's I use this approach, not obviously for divorce attorneys, but I use this approach with competitors and having a persona to give me insights into, okay, if I really want this type of customer, if I want Sarah as a client and I want more Sarahs, who am I competing against and why? Why would they be good? And in this case, you know, that website's probably heavy in calling out on mediation and custody.
Hmm.
And that's probably what we would see there.
That's interesting. I wonder how empathetic that website is.
Well,
Does you have to
let's
give
look
you
at
a way to compete against them?
yeah. Um, how can I compete with I'm just gonna copy this. What are some things I can do differently or better, um, content wise, approach, etc. Let's just see what it says. Tailor your approach to emotional needs.
That was exactly my instinct there. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, offer niche services beyond mediation.
Yeah.
Develop rich, actionable content. So this is saying interactive tools,
Mm-hmm.
how-to guides, local knowledge. Build your
Which you
online
can
reputation.
now create in a weekend
Yeah,
with
exactly.
with the
Exactly.
tools like this.
Communicate your value. Outshine with client-focused branding. And this is interesting because it's using her persona to drive this. So it's saying use warm, supportive messaging. Use family-centric imagery. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this is like the playbook right here of how to win more Sarahs.
Mm-hmm.
And then position yourself. So this is talking about collaborating with mental health professionals, financial planning resources. Um, so it, it's it's all here. It's all
Yeah,
here.
that's
There's no
cool.
excuses anymore.
Yeah, let's run something through for a property insurance attorney. Like who
Okay.
is, I wonder who the, I assume they're representing property owners as opposed to the insurance companies.
So let's go
Let's
up
say it's,
here. We'll create a new chat, right? Because
okay,
that's the other thing is so this chat context, they call it, is all based around Sarah at this point.
right. Mm-hmm.
And so when I open up a new conversation, now we're kind of like basically resetting and leveling the playing field. So let's put this.
Now, all that stuff we just did is saved somewhere, right? You can still find
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
So
okay.
I can go back here and I can see in my conversations, and then all of your conversations will be here, and I can
Got it.
pull those open and do whatever.
Perfect. Okay.
Yep. Okay, so let's create a prompt that I can use to generate a persona of a potential client who is considering hiring what is our
Property insurance attorney.
property insurance attorney.
I would say, maybe we say plaintiff's property insurance attorney.
Okay. Let's see what the prompt is. Okay, let's grab this. Oh, we don't even need to grab it. It's just gonna do it. Oh, look, same name, different age, um, different occupation. She's a small business owner this time, which is
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Okay, so we have this persona. So, what does she value? Expertise in property insurance claims and a successful track record, transparent pricing, empathy, patience, and client-focused approach. Okay. So how do client personas influence marketing strategies? So what does this do? Nah, that's not super
That's just the
helpful.
basic thing. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so what do we want to know about? What do we want to do with Sarah?
Let's do a blog post. We
Okay.
just got a few minutes left here.
What kind of content does Sarah need to see to select us as a client, as a firm?
Yeah, okay.
So educational content, okay. Empathy driven content. So this is great. It's kind of overviews, but can you provide more examples? Okay. So now we're getting into like the nitty gritty here. Understanding your
Yeah.
rights, a guide to property insurance claims, top 5 mistakes to avoid when dealing with insurance companies.
So I just have this picture in my head of some of the plaintiff's attorneys' television ads, like "I am the hammer." That's not suggested for Sarah here.
No, I don't think that's gonna work for Sarah.
Yeah,
Um,
if she's actually, yeah, I mean, if she's actually the persona, then nope, she's not going to hire the hammer.
no. Um, and so we can just say, help me craft a blog post for Sarah around this topic. And it does its thing and spits out a bunch of text that
Mhm.
hopefully is helpful and useful. At least it's a starting point, right? If
Mhm.
it's not. So
Mhm.
um you can I think the biggest point here is you can't break it. So carve out time and play around with it.
Yeah.
You can ask it for help. It will help you use its own tool, right? You saw how I, said, "Hey, help me write a prompt. I don't know how to ask you this." Um, but spend time to play around with this. This is a
Yeah.
game changer when it comes to saving you time while increasing your capacity, right? Like being able to produce content at the rate that we just did it, and even to do a competitor analysis, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, who do I need to go up against and why? Okay.
Yeah. So let's just touch on confidentiality and ethical
Yeah.
considerations for a second. I mean, I don't think we did anything here that was particularly implicated that on the marketing side, but
No.
w- uh, how does this work? I mean, and is it going to like grab confidential information out of your files, or how are you protected against, having something sensitive released?
Yeah, so I try to take the rule. Now, if this is set up in your organization, there's a way to have safeguards around your data, which
Yeah.
Dennis covered in the webinar. The way we were just using this is I don't have those safeguards in place. So, I'm feeding it data. What it does with that data after I feed it to it, uh, I don't know. You notice I did not feed it anything uh identifiable, right? Like I
Right.
didn't
Hmm.
say, hey, I know this person. Here's an actual person. Here's their age. They
Right.
recently got divorced last year. Um, and so
I,
I always try to be cautious with feeding it stuff like that. Even when I'm looking at analyzing like metrics and numbers, I'll try to be vague about, oh, well, here's just a spreadsheet. It doesn't have who it's for, the client. It doesn't have any, it's just here's some numbers. Help me
yeah.
analyze.
I mean, if we had done something like a case study, then you'd have to look at that much more closely and go, okay, I got to make sure I'm not releasing anything here that's
Sensitive.
privileged or, you
Yeah.
know, otherwise compromises a client's position.
Yeah. Now, if you use that when the safeguards are in place, it's pulling from your data already, right? It's looking
Right.
at your email data, it's looking at your doc data that it's allowed to, it's looking at all these different things. And so in that case, it's a little bit different. But if you're doing a case study, that's going to go online anyway. So, you know, you're going to have to use it with fine
Right.
tooth comb. But
Obviously, you're not going to put client names in, generally
right,
speaking, or anything like that.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I think this seems like one of the safer contexts that you
Yeah.
can you can use something like this, and with a lot of power, as we saw.
Yeah.
So, you know, um, oh, and one last question. We're down to the last minute or so.
Yep.
Um, Talk about, I mean, I don't know that a lot of lawyers are going to want to do these things all by themselves,
Hmm.
right? I mean, they're going to need some professional help setting up a website,
Yep.
publishing blogs, looking up SEO data. How do you
Yep.
balance this with those type of services?
So what's interesting is a lot of those services that you mentioned are leaning heavy into the AI automation space too. For instance,
Right.
WordPress, I think, and which WordPress hosts many, many websites. I think it's the largest platform in the world, right? They have the most
Hmm.
websites. They announced, I think last week or 2 weeks, that they are moving to a completely AI-driven website builder.
Wow.
So you
Okay.
tell it what your company is, what you're trying to accomplish, some messaging, and it spits out everything. Images, graphics, launches it. There you go. So these tools are moving in the direction of AI, and you can get a lot done in a very short amount of time. It may not be perfect, but it's going to get you 80 or 90% of the way there, which is a lot better than not having a website.
Right. Right. Well, hang on, everybody. It's a brave new world.
It is.
Uh, thank you, Matt. That was a fascinating conversation. I really enjoyed working through that with you. And thank you, everybody, for joining today. Um, I didn't see any questions. We're happy to hang around for longer if anybody has questions to bring up. And if not, um, we do these best-in-class webinars every couple times a month, so please join us if you get a chance. And if you'll get a follow-up to this webinar from Amy Eller, who's our product specialist, to give you some more information from Lean Law. And so be on the lookout for that.
Amy is a real person, by the way. She's
Yes,
not
she is
AI.
not an AI.
Not
Definitely
AI.
not.
She is a real live, living,
Of course,
breathing human.
I've never met her in person.
Oh, I haven't either. So,
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. And if there's any way that we can help you to modernize your law firm, we'd love to do that. So please reach out if you want to modernize your financial part of your firm. So thanks so much, everybody. And we are now adjourned.